What can the Minnesota Twins reasonably expect from Alex Kirilloff in 2023? His career up to this point, what it means, looking at the remaining team control, and just the state of Alex Kirilloff on today's episode of Locked On Twins.
You are Locked On Twins, your daily Minnesota Twins podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
And welcome to the Locked On Minnesota Twins podcast. Today is Sunday, October 16th, and I'm your gracious host, Nash Walker. Thanks for making Locked On Twins your first listen every day on the Locked On Podcast Network, where it's your team every day. Hope you enjoyed a Vikings winner. If you're not a Vikings fan, I hope you enjoyed a relaxing Sunday. I know I did, and we're back to break down Alex Kirilloff and what the Twins can reasonably expect from him. It shouldn't be a lot, and I'm going to tell you why on this episode today. Again, this is Nash Walker, 3 seasons on a daily basis, hosting this podcast 5 days a week and writing about the Twins at twinsdaily.com. Alex Kirilloff, I have covered the Twins minor leagues now for a handful of years, back to when Kirilloff was, if not their top prospect. He was after Royce Lewis tore his ACL. I think Kirilloff then became like the Twins' top prospect in the COVID season in 2020. I think he was viewed that way, and rightly so. Kirilloff coming out of high school in Pittsburgh as a first-round pick in 2016, everything you heard about him, pure hitter. He's going to hit. He's going to hit in the big leagues. He's going to be – he can just hit. His dad's like a hitting coach. Like, he's just a natural-born left-handed hitter. He's big. He's strong, probably a first baseman, and he's going to hit. Is he going to hit for a lot of power? That was the question. We just knew he was going to hit. Like, this is a bona fide future 300 hitter at the major league level. If you just broke it down to its bare bones, he is a future major league 300 hitter. And there were certain people who loved Kirilloff as a prospect and others who didn't as much. But I would say the overall consensus on Alex Kirilloff was he was absolutely like a top 20 to 25 prospect globally. And Keith Law had him top 10 at one point. MLB Pipeline had him, I think, at 15th. He was one of the top hitting prospects in the world back in 2019 after his ridiculous 2018 season. The talent is off the charts with Alex Kirilloff. He is a natural-born hitter. He knows how to hit. When he's healthy, he hits. And we've seen that. But the problem here, and why I'm saying the Twins should not expect, I think they should expect little to nothing from Alex Kirilloff in 2023. And when I say that, it doesn't mean that I'm saying I'm out on Alex Kirilloff. Like, I am an adamant supporter of him and his bat. I think if he is healthy, he's a middle of the order bat. He's a middle of the order major league hitter. No question. But they should operate as if he's a complete unknown. You know why? Because he is a complete unknown. Alex Kirilloff has not had a full healthy baseball season since 2018. Since 2018, he has not had a full healthy baseball season. And he missed all of 2017 with Tommy John surgery. 2016, he was in rookie ball in his age 18 season. That's his professional career. 55 games at rookie ball in 2016, missed all of 2017, was incredible in 2018. Best hitter in the minors. Like, I'm not afraid to say he was so good in the minors in 2018. Then he's a global top 15, top 20, in some cases top 10 prospect in baseball. Going into 2019, he had a wrist problem. The wrist was touch and go. It was some weeks, he was feeling good. Other weeks he wasn't. Overall, a solid season, but not anything like 2018. He was hampered by the wrist in 2019. 2020, the COVID season. He doesn't play a single minor league game. The Twins call him up for the playoffs. He gets a hit. Whatever. Barely had a season in 2020. He's at the alternate site. Lost. It was a lost year for everybody down in the minors. And then in 2021, he looks great, goes on the injured list, comes back, doesn't look great, has surgery. There's your 2021 season. Ended shortly. 2022 looks terrible out of spring training, goes on the injured list with the wrist problem, comes back, breaks at AAA, looks great for the Twins, back on the injured list, surgery, season's over. That's his professional career to this point. And Alex Kirilloff turns 25 in November. He's going to turn 25. And Phil Miller wrote in the Star Tribune, Phil wrote this whole primer on every Twins player. Like it had a couple of notes for everybody who was on the 40-man roster and whether they were going to stay on the 40-man roster. And he wrote Alex Kirilloff had a wrist surgery to hopefully revive his career. And my initial reaction to that was that's really dramatic. Really to revive his career. You know, he's 24 years old. But the more I think about it and the more I look at his track record, I do think there's some truth to that. Like this wrist surgery, what happens if it doesn't work? And it's a very invasive, it's a surgery Kirk Gibson had in 1980, which we're kind of hanging our hats on, hopefully, that Kirilloff turns out to be Kirk Gibson. But if this doesn't work, like what's next? That's the question. This is a last ditch surgery, it sounds like, for Alex Kirilloff. So maybe Phil was not dramatic in saying that this is a surgery to hopefully revive his career, a career that looked and still looks extremely promising for Alex Kirilloff. I would say from a pure hitting standpoint in the minors, he is the best pure hitter. And I don't even want to say left-handed hitter, like best pure hitter the Twins have had as a prospect since Joe Mauer. Like just the hype around him, the expectation and the talent. Like it's not just hype and expectation, the talent level too. He was tabbed as the next Joe Mauer of left-handed hitters for the Twins. Like that was where he was at in the minors as a prospect. And of course, that's so ridiculous to ever say somebody's going to be a Hall of Fame player. Joe Mauer is going to be a Hall of Famer. It's crazy to ever say that, but that's where we're at with Alex Kirilloff. That's where a lot of people were at with Alex Kirilloff. This dude's really special. And I'm not here to say that he's no longer special, but he has not had a full healthy season since 2018 when he was great. Of course he was great in 2018. This year, what happened this year and what can it tell us about 2023 and what should the Twins do this offseason revolving around Alex Kirilloff? How should they make decisions on Alex Kirilloff and around Alex Kirilloff? I have some really interesting ideas. After this word from Simply Safe. The numbers don't lie, folks. In the last decade, over 4 million people have chosen Simply Safe Home Security to protect their home. You don't earn the trust of that many people without doing something right. At Simply Safe, your safety is the only thing that matters. I know because we use Simply Safe and they protect you with cutting edge security technology powered by 24/7 professional monitoring agents who always have your back. Simply Safe blankets your home in protection with advanced sensors for every single room, window and door, customized the perfect system for your home in just a few minutes at simplysafe.com/locked on MLB. Save 20% on your Simply Safe security system when you sign up for an interactive monitoring plan and get your first month free. Visit simplysafe.com/locked on MLB to learn more. There is no safe like Simply Safe. Alex Kirilloff, 2022 overall. Now, let's look at his major league career. He's played over 100 games in the majors now, which is kind of wild to me. It feels like I haven't seen him 100 times. 104 games, 251 batting average, on base percentage 295, slugging 398 for an OPS plus at 94. That's 6% below league average. 23% strikeout rate, 5% walk rate, and just above zero wins above replacement. To this point, he's a replacement level player in the big leagues. But within that, you have periods where he looked incredible from June 17th to July 23rd in 2022 in this season, right when he came from AAA, when he was crushing at AAA, came to the majors, joined the Twins. From June 17th to June 23rd, Kirilloff was 30 for 98. That's a 306 batting average with an 815 OPS. The peak of his season to me, and when I really was watching and I was like, oh my goodness, it's happening. Like Alex Kirilloff is happening, was when he hit 2 home runs in Chicago, one off Michael Kopech, one off Vince Velasquez, both to the opposite field. I remember watching that game and I was thinking to myself, this is a special moment in time for the Twins. This is a special moment in time. We're seeing Alex Kirilloff healthy, crushing, middle of the order Alex Kirilloff finally at the big league level for an extended period. And we're talking 100 at bats of him doing that. It was too good to be true. Right after that stretch where he went 30 for 98, started grounding into a bunch of, ground outs, double plays, weak contact, weak grounders to the right side. And what does that mean? His wrist hurts. His wrist hurt. He went on the injured list. His season was over. I think Kirilloff's season ending, for me personally, because I still see him as such an important figure for this organization and for their lineup, that to me was a really underrated injury. And I've said it before, I'll say it again. That Kirilloff injury to me capped a lot of the upside on this offense for the rest of the season. If Kirilloff would have remained healthy and continued doing what he was doing, which I think it's not a flash in the pan. That's who he is when he's healthy. He's a middle of the order bat, no question. If he was healthy doing that, he would have picked up a lot of slack for other injuries, I think, around the lineup. And that's a lot to put on him. But I think that injury really capped the upside of the offense because he was replaced by Jake Cave. Nicky was playing the infield. He was replaced by guys who don't have near the upside that he has as a hitter, and that we saw. It's not just upside. What we saw, they lost someone who had crushed for 100 at bats, who was in some ways their best hitter for 100 at bats. That injury to me, and that season ending injury, it wasn't just, oh, he's going to do the injured list thing again for 15 days and he'll be back and he's going to start hitting again. It was his season's over, months early again in 2022. And I think the Twins need to be in a position in 2023 where if that happens, or if he's just not good, like if he just is this, which is a below league average hitter, barely above replacement level player overall, if he's that guy, they need to put themselves in a position where it doesn't hurt as much as it did in 2021, in 2022. In order to do that, if you expect Alex Kirilloff today and your optimistic expectation is, well, he's going to be our opening day left fielder, wipe that out. I would wipe that out. I would say, no, let's sign a competent corner outfielder, or let's put Trevor Larnach there. But even him, he's got question marks himself. Let's sign a competent outfielder on a 1-year deal and put him there. And if AK crushes in AAA, or we give him at bats at the majors, he's spread around in at bats and he does really well, then we can replace that 1-year deal, whoever it is in left, Adam Duvall, or I don't know, anybody. You can get a 1-year, $8 million corner outfielder. There are a bunch of them. There's a bunch of guys you can try to go get. Like that's not a problem. Even if you wanted to put Larnach there, and that's fine. I'm just saying somebody who's more established, even if that upside is capped, someone who's more established. If that's your idea, like he's going to be our opening day left fielder, wipe it out, put somebody in front of him. If your idea is he's going to be our first baseman, we're going to trade Jorge Polanco, we're going to move Luis Ariz to second, we're going to trade Gio Urshela, Miranda's going to play third, and AK is going to be our first baseman. If that's your idea, wipe it out. If your idea is Alex Kirilloff is going to be your opening day first baseman, sign a first baseman, and Alex Kirilloff is your backup in AAA. He's got one more option year. I think he needs a great spring. Like spring training, he'll be a top storyline going into Fort Myers in February. He'll be a top storyline for this team. Like, how does Alex Kirilloff look? And we will get some answers then, but the free agency will basically be over by that point. There'll be stems and seeds on the free agent market. So they need to go into Fort Myers with a backup plan already ready in case, Kirilloff doesn't look good. It's not even a backup plan, your primary plan. Like he needs to be good at AAA or in Fort Myers for over a month again. Like if you send him back to St. Paul, and I'm saying right now, today, he's having a very invasive surgery. I think he should start 2023 in St. Paul. Like that's just, to me, it's not really a question. I want to see him healthy after this surgery, rake for a month in Fort Myers, or at least hit well, and then go down to St. Paul and hit well for a while there before you call him up and like rely on him too much. That's just my opinion of it. I think relying on Alex Kirilloff in 2023 could put them in the same spot they were these last 2 years, which is we expect this guy to be our left fielder. We're going to non-tender Eddie Rosario, and Alex Kirilloff is going to take over in left field. In 2022, he's going to earn, 2022, he's going to be on the opening day roster. He's going to be in our lineup. He's going to hit for us. And the plan went sour both years because of his wrist. It's not his fault. It's not his fault. Like, it's just a really, really brutal situation. Like, it's really a bummer because, again, I believe this guy is special. I believe he can hit. I believe he's a major league middle of the order bat for the Twins. He's got 5 more years of team control. His future is still very important to this club. I think it would benefit the Twins to whatever plan they might have, and their plan might be to not rely on Alex Kirilloff, should be put aside, and it should be to not rely on Alex Kirilloff in 2023. He should be a bonus. He should not go into Fort Myers. This is kind of what it boils down to. You should not go into Fort Myers with Alex Kirilloff slated to start somewhere on your roster. You might feel differently, and that's fine. Like, I get it. If you really believe in the talent, you believe in this surgery, this, ulnar shaving wrist crazy surgery, that's fine. Like, I could be dead wrong and he could go into Fort Myers look incredible and he's wasting at bats at AAA and it looks dumb. That's absolutely possible. I'm just saying he's shown you so much over the last couple of years. His wrist has shown you so much that you should not rely on it anymore. Like, fool me once, fool me twice, fool me 3 times. Eventually it's shame on the Twins for trusting his wrist. Again, it's not his fault. It's an injury. It sucks. And I want to, and I'm hopeful, and I think I'm optimistic that he's still going to be really impactful for them even in 2023. They need to have a higher floor offensively, and a higher floor, I think, requires them not to rely on their low floor, high upside guys, which would be Alex Kirilloff. Even Trevor Larnach's part of that group as well. They need to have guys set in place, I think, going into Fort Myers. And that's especially true because they have less holes, like legitimate holes to fill. They got to fill shortstop. They could use another starter, obviously a frontline starter. They could use another reliever. I would argue a good reliever. They could use another one of those, but they have less. It's not like we're going to the offseason again. We need to focus all our attention on acquiring 3 starters, a shortstop, a left fielder, a DH. Like, they're just not in that position this year, this offseason, for better or worse. They need to spend time and resources, I think, on raising the floor of this offense because the floor just fell out. And a lot of it was because of injuries like Kirilloff, but also their contingency plans. Like, your contingency plan should be Alex Kirilloff, right? Your contingency plan should be Trevor Larnach. And in some ways, the contingency plans also got hurt in 2022. A lot of it is just the health, but I also think they can put themselves in a better position for 2023, specifically with Kirilloff, because what I fear and what I actually think is going to happen, I expect this to happen, and I'm sure I'll get excited. I'm even getting excited thinking about him healthy in spring training. That thought to me is so exciting because I know what he can do. I fear that this winter they will work under the assumption that Alex Kirilloff is going to be good to go, going into Fort Myers. And they'll know, like, they'll check in and they'll use that time. But that's also painful because guys are going to be flying off the board. I'm fearful that they will either wait on him to see how he is after this surgery, like, oh, let's check in with Alex in December, which is what they'll do. They'll check in, of course, throughout the offseason, and that will influence some of their decisions. But my argument is that it shouldn't. Like, if Alex Kirilloff tells you he's great in November and he's feeling really, really awesome, he's swinging a great bat, I would say that's awesome. That's great for us. I'm really excited for you, and I'm excited for your season in 2023. Let's go sign. Let's go sign an outfielder for a year and 7 million. Let's go sign a top of the line first baseman and shuffle things around to try to improve this offense. Let's go. Give that spot. I just think even if he's doing well this offseason, I would just be skeptical that he's going to provide you the value you think he might in 2023. That's all I think about Alex Kirilloff. I think he's really talented. I think he has a special bat. I think he is clearly a major league hitter when he's healthy, and a good one at that. He's just not right now. And I don't think he's healthy right now. I don't think he has proven enough that he is that guy that you hope and continue to hope that he is. And it's unfortunate, it's sad, it's a bummer. But you can't let this hold you back from doing other things. Like, you can't let this hurt you as much as it did these last 2 seasons, because I think it did. I think it was an underrated And anytime your top prospects don't pan out, get hurt, struggle, that's going to impact you. But I think it especially did because the Twins relied so much on what they thought he was going to provide them. And I thought it too. Like, I'm not saying I was saying, oh, he's his wrist. I didn't even, they can't see that coming, right? That I would have relied on Alex Kirilloff too, but not anymore. Like, I would say this offseason, that has to change. You've done it the last 2 years where he's an opening day starter for you, or in 2021's case, they called him up a little late, service time tweaking, I think. You've done it before. It didn't work. Let's not do it again. That's kind of that might be my motto for the Twins this offseason. We've done it before. It didn't work. Let's not do it again. Whether that's signing Bundy, Shoemaker, Happ, Archer, or relying on Alex Kirilloff, or relying on your young guys who are often injured. Let's not do that again. Let's try to raise the floor of this team in creative ways. That would be my motto. We tried it. It didn't work. Let's not do it again. I think the Alex Kirilloff situation fits under that. I'm going to predict Alex every year. I think I'll have Alex Kirilloff as my breakout pick for the Twins. I'll do it every year just because I'm so bullish on him. I'll do it every single year. I did it this year. I did it in 2021. I'll do it again in 2023. I'm sure I will just because I believe in him. I believe in his bat. I don't believe in his wrist, unfortunately. Thanks so much for making Locked On Twins your first listen today on the Locked On Podcast Network, where it's your team every single day. And I'll make your second listen the Locked On MLB Podcast. MLB expert Paul Francis Sullivan brings humor, passion, and unique perspective on every team and the biggest stories around the league. Follow the number one daily league-wide podcast, Locked On MLB, on the Odyssey app, YouTube, and wherever you get your podcasts on. The Locked On Podcast Network, where it's your team every day. Exciting news Tuesday. Twins top pitching prospect Marco Raya is coming on the show. So join us then. I haven't talked to Marco since right after he got drafted on the show. So join us then. Let me know if you have any questions for him, and we'll shoot him. Thanks so much. Have a great day. Go Twins.